Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It's me, Duke CT, live here on the Duke CT Lounge. Thank you so much for joining me on this Thursday evening. And well, we're going to talk a little bit of AEW, a little bit of, let me see if I can get the share screen here set up here for you. We're going to be talking about Blood and Guts. And holy crap, what a show that over delivered. And quite honestly, probably one of the best dynamites of the year. And it wasn't a 4 hour one either. I noticed the new stuff they ordered, like the AEW tidal wave and stuff. Like it's coming, so it's gonna be a 5 hour show, and I'm like, no, just but a show, but a great show. The ladies did their job. Everyone did a really good job. By the way, uh, if you want to come in, remember, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff here. I want to hear what your thoughts about this. What you talk about the entire thing. I really am disappointed. I mean, Queen Amnados, who worked really hard to get this whole thing, and she was injured, so it really does suck for her that she didn't get apologies. Also put on before it. A lot of them did not get the opportunity, but hey, hopefully they get back, and then hopefully they'll be there for next year, and the ladies will get the chance to main event. And I think that would be something I think people would be happy to see and everything else. I think that was the one thing people would love to see is to have the ladies main event and all that good stuff. But that's just my personal opinion. But anyway, the match here, what a show. The MVPs, there's a ton of MVPs of this. I mean, Willow, Holly Cameron, all of them did great. The match was bloody, violent, sky blue, over an hour just drenched in blood, and still got, still after the table didn't crash and everything else, she's still been up there. Jamie Hayter, her teeth was like supposedly got run out, but she's fine. They can fix that stuff up real quick. Mina Sarakara did some stuff too. Tony Storm had some good stuff. Basically the female Joker, which fits her character going down right now. Triangle Madness showed some really good stuff. Julia Hart, Alexis Cabu, Tekla had some great stuff. Marina Safir. Wow. I want her to wrestle more. And this and the intergender hardcore tornado street fight they had with Marina Safir and Yuta versus Darby and Chris Statlander. I want that to be more, and I want. If I was doing things, I honestly think that this should be the title thing going forward. I want Mina Sophia get that one big title shot, and then when the Death Riders kind of implode, then I think she should be going rough round and maybe win the TBS title and hold that belt for a while. Be nice. I think it'd be something interesting. But yeah, great stuff here. Just in the finish of the match, how violent it is, how crazy it is. Just having, I think it was Megan Bain whipping. Let's see, Mina Shirakawa over and over again in front of Tony Storm over and over again. She keeps beating her with the TBS title, and then she just says, "I quit, I quit, I quit." And that to me showed me that A, AEW can do stories, and B, it just shows that the absolute villainous behavior of these of the ladies there, of showing how everything else. Oh, heads up, let me see here. No, Athena, I don't know why either. I think she should have been perfect for this. I would have put her in there, but I would have loved to see Athena in Blood and Guts as well. I would have loved to see her in that. Personally, gosh, if only if I was doing that, I would have her, her minions. You build up her minion army or something, go against maybe something like that in the future. You have her, Billy Starks or maybe Red Velvet. I don't know, something. It'd be very interesting in my personal opinion. But hey, I think this shows that now you have the ladies there, great stuff. Um, Overall, I really highly recommend this. And I would not be surprised this will be a pay per view in the future, or PLE as they are now called. I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be the case going down the pipe because this is something I highly recommend. 5 star. I said 4.5 stars. I think the table spot, and I think the one thing I really believe they should, I don't like them leaving the cage. I wish they were all in the cage. And also, I'm happy no one really got seriously injured because those the thumbtack spot with Jamie Hayter brought in exploded, and I'm like, whoa, it could have been a lot worse, but everyone came out just fine. I hear. So hopefully they all take a good rest and they start building that stuff up as well. But yeah, I can't wait to see more of this, and this should be main event next year. Yeah, that's what I say. Go watch this match, and then next up we got the Falls Count Anywhere match, which is Powerhouse Hobbs. Will Hobbs had one hell of a year. I say this once and I'll say it again. I think Hobbs should be the world champion. He should have beaten Boxley at earlier this year. But I really think he should. He is like honestly the full package and just doing these big strong, like just crushing people. Yeah, I mean, to start out the match was when it was just like he just the strongest slam over every single one, just basically breaking Hangman's back over and over, and then just the drop of it, just boom, right on the steel steps. That I'm like, wow. I thought that would finish the match right there. You know, I thought that would be the finish of the match right then and there. And because I think Heyman, I like Heyman, but I think Crowdhouse Hobbs should be the champion. And he keeps giving more and more opportunities like this. I hope that they look at this and say this man should be a world champion, if not now, if not soon. In fact, there's many people who should be going for Heyman in for the title, in my personal opinion. But I'll get to another person like that coming up soon. But yeah, this match was surprisingly really good. Just at the end of what you had the match, just Hangman, cowboying up and then hitting him with a boot, knock out Powerhouse Hobbs into some tables or some electrical equipment, and the flag flickered. And I'm like, oh goodness, is Dark State going to show up? No, but yeah, I think this was going to be. I thought this was a really good fall sound match. The match was short. I wish it could have been a little bit more, but it did tell the story. Hangman wins, and then next Shibata comes in, I'm out, and Joe beats him up. Then you got Hook and uh Eddie Kingston show up and says, all right, the backup said, and as the cage lowers down, he says, and Hangman picks up the mic and say, you just won a cage match. That's all you got to say, dumbass. So the title match, Joe Page 2, uh, Steel Cage Boogaloo is now official. So yeah, that's gonna be it for Full Gear. And we move on. Now we get to another stuff here. It was gonna be Ric Flair was gonna show up, but Ric Flair, I think he rotated cup. He said he was in a lot of pain. He showed up for the live crowd and he went back, but they did the segment with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and then we're FTR, and they talk about them teaming together. It was a good time, and then they were about to pile drive him, but then next year Rodito showed up, beat him down. Dragon did his stuff right there, beating up everybody, got the crowd hyped up, and then and Rodito gets FTR. Man, I want FTR to win, but I do love Rodito, and I think Brodito is probably going to lose. I think Brandito is going to lose the Ring of Honor title. I think it should be Lee Moriarty to take that belt because, I mean, he should. I think he's beyond a pure title at this point. So, yeah, he's beyond the pure title. So I think he should go and face Bandito and win the Ring of Honor world title. My personal opinion. And then we get to our main event. The Death Riders versus Darby Allin, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Roger Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yes, I had to do that. But yeah, now this? What a match! What a match that was. It started off slow, but it built up. And you noticed the good guys in collaboration had the man advantage because thanks to Darby Allin's, going after John Moxley and all this type of stuff to really build that up. That was the whole situation. They built it up, and it looks like he was going to, they're like, oh, they're going to use it against, and then boom, Mark Briscoe was taken out by the Don Callis family, and they couldn't do anything. So the whole thing was shuffled up. They couldn't do anything. It was all discombobulated as Roderick Strong came out and he helped beat them down and everything else. Then you had Cesaro, and it was just the beat downs over and over again. Didn't matter. Roderick Strong came out and everything else. Kyle O'Reilly came out. It was a physically and emotionally just breakdown to Death Riders. Each one. Then you have Moxley coming out in 4, beating up everyone, coming in with the same parts of the ladies' matches and everything else, coming in and just grinding everyone with the forks and everything else, giving the fork to Garcia, just like him, just let's rake everyone else there, just making everything just bloody and just overall violence. And it was like, well, he could, and then the numbers just was too much. And it looked like the Death Riders were going to win as well. Mark Briscoe was ruled out. It looked like it's over. Mark Briscoe is out. The next thing you know, he comes back just walking in like bandaged, didn't care, knocked out the stuff and said, I'm coming in and I'm taking everybody out, that sort of stuff. And then he comes out, beats them all up, and then what? And they're just like, there's a toolbox, and everyone's just hitting with wrenches and crowbars, and just the violence got up lower and more and more. And then next thing they were fighting on, Briscoe and Yuta were fighting on the roof. And then you had Briscoe hitting the J Driller on the roof of the cage. Craziness. Everyone was busted open. Everyone's bloody. And then Darby Allin gets out of the cage and then gets attacked by the mercenary Gabe Kidd and drags him out. And then Pac comes and help him. And then, what they do there, they get a table. And, well, let me just see if I can get... Boom! Pac tosses Darby into the flaming table. And somehow Darby did not get hurt. Darby did not get seriously hurt and everything. He just rolled to the back. I was like, oh my gosh, what are you? And Brian said, what are we doing? And you know what? I agree. Brian Daniels was like, what are we doing here? I don't know, man. It's crazy. And it looks like it was all over. It was all said and done. It looks like it was going to be the end of this stuff here. Oh, and by the way, confirmed by Sarah Ross Sapp, say his name. He is now in WWE. He is Joe Henry. So yeah, he is now in WWE. So yeah, and that's not really a surprise. But somehow this right here, still Darby is still alive after this. It's crazy. So it looks like all is over. All is done. There is no hope. No hope. No hope at all. But then they keep fighting. They kept fighting over and over again. Because I think that is a gory spot that hopefully YouTube doesn't take me down or what have you. Because man, that right there, I mean, it was almost over. It looks like it was done, but yet, they kept fighting. Roderick Strong with a middle finger right up to Moxley. And next thing you know, he reversed it. And then, it looks like it was over. It was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen here? It's all the way over. It's all the way over. Everything's like this, but yet here we are. He did a I don't know if I can show this on YouTube. It's very bloody and violent, so I mean, I showed the fire thing, so hopefully it wasn't that terrible. And I'm still on YouTube, so you know, still there. So yeah, I'm still here. So fire is probably fine, but yet blood isn't. So it's a very violent scene. But yes, you know, very violent. And the finish, just like Moxley taps out Kyle O'Reilly, taps out Moxley after weeks and weeks of Moxley just struggling and just weaseling him around. He taps out to, and I'm like, you know what? Kyle puts himself in the echelon of the main event. I mean, at this point, you might have to put him there. Him, Powerhouse Hobbs, and maybe Jay White when he comes back. Maybe that could be his world title, program and such. Maybe have him win the belt for maybe a month or two. A short reign doesn't kill anybody, people. What's wrong with a short reign? Which I think I'm tired of seeing these 8-month long reigns. You see how long these things they gas out. We need to get back to shorter reigns. It's not how long you hold the belt; it is how you connect with that. We have too many long championship reigns to the point people just forget about them. You need to have moments. You need to have the chase. And you need to have great opponents. And I think Kyle, I think Powerhouse Hobbs, and I think Jay White when he comes back, that will be the really defining moments of Hangman's run and all that stuff. But that's just my personal opinion. I want to hear what you thoughts here, as I really enjoyed this Dynamite. If you can, watch the replay on HBO Max, or if you want to watch it on Thriller TV, and get that $9 deal so you can watch all that stuff without the commercials. It's great. I highly recommend this. Good stuff here. And hopefully next year you get Athena, you get Red Velvet, you get Queen Nana, you get Maya World, High End, you know, put Mega Man in that back in there too. So yeah, I highly recommend this show. And also something else. Guess who was at the AEW? West Side Gun. Yep, West Side Gun was at AEW. After he was kicked out of WWE, he went to he went to AEW, which is interesting. So I expect maybe Fourth Rope might be doing maybe some stuff with AEW instead of the TNA WWE stuff. That means I had to get rid of Enzo, but that would probably addition by subtraction. But I don't know. Maybe that's just my personal thing. So maybe he just was sitting there as a fan and hopefully didn't getting kicked out and such like that. So my hope is that, West Side Gun and everything, because all he did was want to be just wanted to show the love wrestling fans, and they still came out. WWE still came out with them. I don't get it, but I do get it. It sucks. It really does. But yeah, that's what AEW Dynamite was. Bloody, violent perfection, and people went out there unscathed. The only person I do probably got more, worried about was Darby, but he seemed to be, I know Darby a little bit cooked, but he still came back, and he's still fine. So I don't know. Anyway, that's it for Dynamite. We're gonna be talking about some DCU news and my thoughts on the My Old Galaxy trailer as well. We'll be right back right after this here live on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for watching. Click like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And then we'll be right back right after this.